Hello, and welcome to the To Be Named Later wrestling podcast that only talks about one company's wrestling show.
It's going to be a good time. Only one company. We
Mhm.
thought it out two, decided one was enough.
Yeah, I don't have enough time to watch the 4 or 5 2-hour shows that WWE puts on every week. I only have.
Oh, I was talking about New Japan as the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have known. Yeah, I only have time to watch the 2-hour show that AEW puts on, plus all the YouTube things that they do that are also about an hour.
Yeah, plus the 30 minutes of BTE, the 30 minutes of Sammy Guevara's vlog, and the hour of Dark.
Yeah, so not comparable times at all.
Yeah.
We are just now starting this show just because we talked about it and thought we should do it. We do realize that we're coming off the end of 3 special shows. 4? Oh yeah.
Well, it was 3 special ones, and then this past week, which was
I don't
insane.
know. Do they have name? I know they were named Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, but to the non-pay-per-view things,
no, it's just regular Dynamite.
Special night of AEW Dynamite. We're coming off of those, so there might be some storyline things we have to add in, but we're basically just going to run through the card for, what was it, the 22nd? I think.
Something like that.
July 22nd, 2020, the year of AEW.
Yeah.
I only watched this last night because I missed it because we were recording another podcast. Kylan was able to watch it that night, which is lucky. But
it went on demand. I watched the first half before we recorded that episode of the Zero Oscars. So I got to see live the Cody Eddie Kingston match, which was
fun to be alive.
It was wonderful.
It was pretty good. I like Eddie Kingston's talking skills better than wrestling, though. I haven't seen him in anything else. So maybe, I don't know.
He can cut a promo. Dude can talk on the mic.
Oh, absolutely. So, and I mean, he wasn't bad in the ring. I just thought he was kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion. Other people seem to like him a lot, so maybe so. I wasn't expecting the tax.
That was oof.
Yeah, just to walk through what happened, basically, the show starts immediately, as things do, because that's how starting works. But we immediately go, Cody is already in the ring, his music's playing, you don't even get to see him walk in. And just, they're like, welcome to AEW Dynamite. And before they can even really finish that, Eddie Kingston just rolls up, who's apparently an indie darling. Again, don't know him. But he's on the mic, he's talking hot shit, you know. I don't really remember. He said, you're generic, like I'm going to get you, Cody.
And he was like, Cody, you grew up in this. I grew up, working on the indies, not having a ton of money. You're not a real man, that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of focus on how poor Eddie Kingston is for some reason, which I don't totally understand.
Which I think it was Tony during the commentary during the match actually said he had to sell a pair of his wrestling boots to pay his mortgage, and then Tony Khan, I think, bought him some new ones.
Which is cool.
Yeah, Tony Khan's cool.
They focused on how poor he was so much, which I get. I mean, yeah, it's COVID. We're not doing the best, but it was, I don't know, it was more funny than anything to me. Not that he was poor, but that they kept harping on it. But yeah, kind of slow match. Cody was fine. Eddie was fine.
The tack slot, that was insane.
Back power bomb looked extremely painful. Eddie Kingston gets a bag out from under the ring that I guess he had hidden there.
They have so many things under the ring for who knows what reason.
Well, the idea is that they're extra set stuff. Why was there a bag of tacks?
You got to nail in the ring post with tacks, Eli.
I guess that makes sense. Cody gets power bombed onto the tacks. He rolls around, makes it look real nice. At some point during the match, Eddie Kingston's knee gets injured. So Cody really starts hammering in on that, which I think is a little bit more heel stuff.
That's the figure four.
He uses the
to win it.
Four to end it, yeah. The figure four on the bridging over the tacks, which I thought was a great way to end it. I feel like they need to do more submissions.
Yeah, I do too. I think That and the Moxley Cage, I think they were the only two submissions I've seen since I've been watching that I can remember.
Moxley also used one to get Brody Lee. Except
Oh, yeah. He put him to sleep.
Yeah. But it just seems like if you're in a fight, I know it's wrestling. It's totally real. But
yeah, 100%.
A submission seems like honestly a way easier way to end a match than I'm going to hope I beat this man so much that he can't move for 3 seconds. I don't know. But I thought it was a decent opening match. Tags in an opening match is crazy.
Yeah, it was.
You see that towards the end.
Good. Cody matches, for me, always deliver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a different style than some of the other people, which is a nice change of pace. And then those heel teases.
Surprised is the wrong word. He broke his streak of hugging his opponent during these open TNT challenges. He has almost always hugged them after. And
I didn't notice that.
You noticed that?
Well, I didn't notice that. Okay. I assume he didn't hug Jake Hager after that one.
Probably.
Because Jake Hager hit the ref and left.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't really do anything about that. But yeah, he hugged, I mean, who all has he challenged? Sonny Kiss.
Jungle Boy.
Mark
Quinn.
Starks also got a hug.
And Mark Quinn.
Yeah, they all got hugs. They're all buddies. Except I think Starks is a bad guy now, but whatever. But yeah, great match. Eddie Kingston kind of walked away sad. It was kind of it was pretty sad. He basically just rolled out of the thing, and they focused on him sad.
And his knee was hurt,
limping back to his poor life, I guess.
I wouldn't mind if they signed him. I think he's good. I think he'd be a good.
Oh yeah, he'd be a great.
But he could have some hardcore matches against people like Joey Janela, Mox. They can do some crazy barbed wire tax type of stuff.
Speaking of Mox, his promo came on right after. It was a pretty simple promo. He basically was just his normal Moxley self, where he just crapped all over Taz and what's his name?
Talked about trying to break Brian Cage's bicep again.
A lot of really graphic talk about how he really would have liked to pop it like a water balloon, Cage's bicep. I don't really know if that's what biceps do when you pop them, but more power to Moxley. He said Taz made a good decision because obviously if he had hurt Cage, Taz would be out of a position there. And that's pretty much basically that. I don't know if you remember anything else from that.
That was pretty much the gist of it.
After that, we moved into the MJF Griff Garrison match, which was who the fuck is Griff Garrison? Yeah. So Griff Garrison, aka Junkie Man, or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty good squash match.
Yeah. MJF working the mic like always,
doing his work. He just comes out, does his I'm still undefeated thing. Griff Garrison, I was pretty happy to see. For one, this is great for him. This is I think this was his Dynamite debut.
Yes, I think so as well.
So that's pretty big, which maybe they really like him then to get him on Dynamite. But he comes out and he talks back to MJF. He says, "I'm pretty sure you've lost 2 matches."
He's like, "Did you just lose a tag team match?" So MJF then hits him in the head with the microphone, and the match begins.
The match begins. Griff Garrison gets in a couple. He gets in a little offense, but ultimately is pretty much manhandled.
It's MJF bullying him, getting him to yell, "You're undefeated."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he holds him down in front of the mic on the ground, and Griff Garrison is emasculated in front of the crowd, basically, which I was pretty sad about, honestly, because I really liked that he was sticking it to him. But I mean, obviously that was going to happen. Pretty quick match. Then that moves into the Britt Baker update, who I always loved Britt Baker, but maybe this is just me. I feel like her bits are getting a little repetitive. I don't know.
I mean, they're a little bit, but I mean, she can't really do as much just because of the injury.
I feel like it's an understandable attempt to keep her in the view. One, because she's great. She's obviously a speaker. She's one of the best characters they have. But
I think of the women, she's my favorite, just character work-wise.
I agree with you. But yeah, it's just like Tony Schiavone's talking to Reba/Rebel, who I'm actually more interested in right now, but we'll see what happens with that. But So she's like, Britt Baker's like, come, Reba, get over here. So they go, and they talk to her, and she basically just complains for about 5 minutes, which
Compares herself to Michael Jordan.
compared herself to Michael Jordan.
Coming back with the Wizards.
Even though she gets the reference wrong, really, because they didn't win or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know basketball that much, but I just trusted Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, but then she said she'd be back at All In, which is in September.
Yeah, which is pretty soon. So hopefully she actually is better.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's still in a wheelchair right now, but here's hoping. I doubt they would let her go out and get hurt again. They'd probably be really careful about that. But yeah, so she has her little bit, and then it sort of moves on.
Is that when they announced the women's tag team tournament?
Almost. That's
okay.
Then there's a Taz promo. There's like 3 different promos in a row almost.
Yeah.
There's a Taz promo with him and Brian Cage. They roll out. I really like anything with Taz. Taz, I think, also one of the best speakers. But
Taz is fantastic.
Taz is great. He's basically just like, me and Cage got into an argument over throwing in the towel. Just as a brief flashback, Moxley and Brian Cage had a match at Fight for the Fallen, where it was really close, but towards the end, Moxley was able to get him in an armbar, but Brian Cage wouldn't tap, and Taz throws in the towel, which sort of saves both of them,
Yeah.
But makes it look like Brian Cage didn't really lose, while at the same time,
he never tapped,
giving Moxley,
but Mox gets to keep the title.
Yeah. So apparently Taz and Cage have been in arguments, but I think as Taz put it, cooler heads prevailed or something. I don't know. Cage agrees with Taz that throwing in the towel is the right move. Although I imagine that even that's probably setting up some seeds for something later.
Mm-hmm. Then Darby comes out, and Darby's about to get in Cage's face when, from out of nowhere, Ricky Starks pushes him into the ropes really hard, and there's rumors Darby may have a concussion.
No,
that I've been reading that. I don't know, they've not been confirmed, but he did go really limp, which is either a really good sell job or he was actually hurt. But they throw him around a bit, and then Moxley comes in with a baseball bat covered in barbed wire and chases the villains away
like a hero.
Yeah.
I did think it was very funny, and I mean, obviously it's very much to their styles, because Mox and Darby are both loners who are just sort of teaming up out of similar interests.
Mm-hmm.
But Mox picks up Darby basically just by like the scruff of his neck off of the floor. Like Darby's laying flat on the ground. Mox picks him up, and it's like Darby stands up and then almost immediately falls back down. He like falls backward onto the ropes. So it's like Mox just picking him up and he falls right back down, which I thought was very funny. But we talked about this as I was watching it last night. I think I like Darby and Mox better than just as a team. I think they make more sense than Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
Yeah, because that seems there's more history with Moxley and Darby. It seems
that's true.
It seems they're similar styles, whereas Cage and Ricky Starks, while I like both of them, they're very different.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Maybe they'll grow on me.
Because Brian Cage is like the big, tough, unstoppable. Well, he's literally called the Machine.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
And then Ricky Starks is like the charismatic heel.
The charismatic, gloaty heel. They're both kind of gloaty and confident. So maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know.
And they both got Taz.
They both have Taz, which I think is more to Brian Cage's. Not what's the word? More to his favor, because Ricky Stark seems like he can cut a promo fine.
Yeah,
he definitely has a character. We just haven't seen Brian Cage talk.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard him talk very much either, except maybe once or twice about Mox. But
yeah, which I mean maybe is on purpose because he's not good, or maybe they just prefer to have Taz. I don't know, but
yeah,
I would like to see Brian Cage at least do a little something. He's talked to Taz in promos like a little bit, but that's about it. So following that, they have the announcement for the women's tag team tournament, which is very exciting. This is not for a championship or anything.
No. Unless they announce one later, but they're just saying it's just a tournament.
Probably for a cup or something, at least at this point. We have talked about this, the women's roster at AEW.
The numbers are low right now just because of there's several people out of the country for COVID, and then both Chris Statlander and Britt Baker are hurt.
So Britt Baker, who's probably, as we said, one of she's in like the top 3 or something. Not in the rankings, but I would say of like women.
Well, wrestlers. I would say their top 5 women wrestlers are obviously Sheeta, Nyla, Penelope Ford, Britt Baker, and Chris Statlander. 2 of which are hurt. Right.
2 of which are injured, and the other 2, Sheeta and Nyla Rose, just finished up a storyline. So it's like, do you put them back? I don't know.
Do you put Sheeta in the tournament when she's already the champion? Because you don't want to have her lose a tag match when
as
she's
champion. That kind of takes over.
So it'll be interesting to see how they fill out the tournament roster. They'll probably bring in some of the people who've been wrestling on Dark.
There's a match later, which I'm not sure if they've signed. There's a women's match later.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they've signed those 2, but we'll talk about those 2 later. So then after this is the Young Bucks versus Butcher and the Blade Falls Count Anywhere match, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I would say match of the night.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, pretty much it's just the culmination of their storyline, which is going to keep going. Not culmination. That's not the right word, because it's going to keep going. But they've had a rivalry along with Pentagon Jr., the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix.
Sort of a fallout from, was it Fight from the Fall where they had the 8-man? Or was that Fyter Fest Night 2? Whenever that was. It's sort of just a continuation of that.
Those were 3 weeks in a row that just kind of all blurred together to me.
Yeah.
Were they 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Great match, though. There's several spots. You walk in, it immediately starts, and it's the Young Bucks just like walking through the back lot, through the bowels of the Jaguars Stadium, looking for the Butcher and the Blade. There's a ref just like following them. And they're like, "Where are you guys?" And they come into this kitchen, which apparently the Jaguar Stadium has like a nice kitchen in it. It's the Butcher and the Blade just chopping up meat.
Which I gotta tell you, Young Bucks are great. The Blade is great. I love the Butcher.
The Butcher's mustache is...
He looks like Lemmy a little bit from Motorhead.
I feel like he's much more into the meme side of it than Blade is. Like, their tag team is clearly sort of... They're, like, serious, but at the same time, they're definitely joking with it.
Because
like
he's a butcher.
The Blade, but then they're in these, like, white sailor outfits cutting meat with, like...
They look like they're in the Clockwork Orange.
They're black rim glasses, yeah. And they've got the beanies. The all white absolutely kills me. It's so much better than their like black BDSM stuff.
And then they wash their hands after dealing with the meat for safety purposes before the match begins.
But then they immediately Blade gets hit in the face with some of the meat.
Yeah. I think Matt Jackson throws a steak at his face and he sells it hard.
Flies backward. Which is completely realistic. And so they tussle for a while. Kind of dangerous for a second because, as you said, they were cutting meat. I don't know if you saw this. One of the Young Bucks, I think, gets thrown onto that table.
Yeah,
and he literally, his butt slides the knife off the table, and then there are 2 like cleavers just sitting on the ground as they're fighting. Which
I was wondering where the knives went, but I didn't like.
They fell off when he hit the table, and then they're sitting on the ground, which I'm sure they were all aware that those knives were there, but I was just like, oh my God. So they tussle for a little bit in the kitchen. It rolls out. There's a couple of spots with like some kind of cart that the Blade jumps on in for some reason, and they're going to ram.
Sort of like a luggage cart you have at like a hotel, and the Butcher just pushes it straight at the Young Bucks who are just standing against a column.
I don't know what the Blade being in the cart was going to achieve.
It adds more weight.
Okay. But it looked great either way. So that happens. I think both teams get like thrown into a semi truck for a couple times.
Yeah, they fight around like a concession stand.
And then personally, my favorite spot of the night comes up after that. Butcher's been kind of beat up. He's on the ground. The Blade starts like running away from the Young Bucks, which was
he runs towards an escalator.
He runs towards an escalator, and then the Young Bucks both simultaneously super kick him onto the escalator, which then slowly carries him up and out of sight.
As we cut to commercial.
Which
was a beautiful transition.
It was so good. I was a little confused about why the Blade ran away. I get because they were going to beat him up, but
he needed space to regroup.
They could have pinned the Butcher.
In a lot of these matches, it seems like they could pin people so much earlier. Like in the Stadium Stampede, they literally had, I think it was Santana tied to a chair.
Yeah.
They could have tipped him over and pinned him right then, but they didn't.
That brings up a question that I've never been sure on, and maybe it's one of those unspoken rules of wrestling, or when it's those fake rules that is there but doesn't really mean anything. Like, you technically can't hit someone with a closed fist. Everything's supposed to be an open fist, but obviously that doesn't happen. But why don't two people lay on a person to pin him? Is that a thing you're not allowed to do? Because surely one person could pull his leg up, and
in that match you could just probably
lay flat down on his shoulders.
I'd assume in a match like that you could, but like in a regular tag, they'd probably be like, "Hey, get out of the ring, other guy."
Yeah, but
I really just want to see. I want to see someone like Lance Archer face Marco Stunt. Don't beat him up. Just lay down on him.
Just lay down.
Marco's so small. Marco's just 1, 2, 3. He can't get up.
That would be fantastic. Sadly, the Lance Archer Marco Stunt fight ended after he like threw him into a pillar or something. I can't.
Yeah, he picked him up and threw him into Orange Cassidy, I think.
But so what happens?
Then it comes back from commercial
on the escalator.
Yeah. It comes back and they're going to the ring now, and tables start coming out, getting set up all around. The tides turn. The Butcher and the Blade are now, they have momentum. And I think it's Nick Jackson is laid up against a table. And the Blade runs in the ring and does a dive over the top. Misses the table. Nick Jackson moves out of the way. So I thought he was dead.
Well, was that on? I still don't know if that was on purpose.
I don't see any way, because he hit the ground hard.
He also, he does like a flip in air. So he basically lands on the small of his back, like almost his tailbone, and his legs hit the barricade. Looks awful.
He was down for a bit, and when he came back in, it seemed like he was hurt. So
I don't understand how he missed. I mean, not that I could do that anyway, but he totally missed the table.
Which I appreciate them trying that, but this is a regular Dynamite. Please don't get hurt.
Don't kill someone over a table flip that didn't need to happen, especially given what happens almost directly after that, because they start fighting up to the entrance tunnels.
The Butcher and the Blade had knocked one of them out, and they just go up and bring 2 more tables out instead of pinning them. And they start fighting again. They both get super kicked several times, put on the tables, and the Young Bucks climb up like the sound equipment and jump off. One of them does a swanton, reminiscent of Jeff Hardy.
Maybe he'll show up.
Gosh, I hope so. One day.
So they obliterate the Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, they pin them both simultaneously.
Yeah. And that's the match. Something beautiful.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. Following that is the
Lance Archer
Jake the Snake interview, which is really a Jake the Snake interview. But
like Lance Archer said stuff, but I had no idea what he said.
Well, it's basically I can't remember the commentator's name or the report. Whatever you call him, the question asker. But he's like, what do you have to say about the stuff? And Lance Archer's just like, how dare you ask? And Jake's like, it's okay, Lance. And then Lance just like he like hard rushes into a locker room where 4 randos are just hanging out. I don't know who these people are, but they're in the locker room.
He throws one literally through the roof.
He throws one up into the ceiling. It's one of those like panel ceilings, and he throws the guy up, and the panel comes out, and then the dude like falls to the ground.
He can't. Doesn't he drag that guy? I think he drags that same guy over and throws him head first into a trash can.
Into a trash can. So like he kills 4 people, and all the while Jake the Snake's just like calmly talking, like
sort of laughing a bit,
laughing about it, but just sort of he's just like, this is the situation. I don't even really. I was too busy watching Lance Archer destroy someone, but he was saying something. I don't know.
Yeah, but then Lance Archer comes up and he's really sort of grunting and breathing hard, and I had no idea what he said.
It's important. No one knows. I saw a GIF on the subreddit for that where just because they bring up the ratings thing every time, and apparently they won the ratings or whatever. I can't remember if it was for the
they won by a lot this week.
And they put the AEW logo over Lance Archer, and the dude that he picks up and throws into the ceiling has the WWE or the NXT logo on it. And then he throws him into the trash can. It was very good.
The reason they won was that BTE segment, 50 plus seconds for 50 plus. That's what did it.
Beautiful. Also, just real quick, I don't watch NXT or any of WWE, so I have really no. I see people arguing about that on Twitter all the time. I don't really have any stake in that fight.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like.
We both just started watching AEW because it was a new thing.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched wrestling in years.
I hadn't either. I got in with AEW right after Jake the Snake sort of showed up. I saw a clip on Twitter, watched it, saw Chris Jericho was there, and was like, this is pretty fun, and then told you about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the ratings thing, it's like, as long as they're doing good enough to keep TNT happy, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care who wins either. Why would it matter?
Yeah. If people like it, good for them.
Also, yeah, I just want, since I enjoy wrestling, I want wrestling to do better in general. If WWE's doing well, that's also cool.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of people that still wrestle at WWE that I like from back in the day. Well, maybe not. I think most of them are retiring now. So
we still they have Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton.
Is he not? Is Rey Mysterio still there?
Yeah. Well, I think he doesn't have like an official contract, but he just wrestled there at their Extreme Rules thing.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, he's still doing matches.
Was probably still. I mean, again, I don't watch any of the stuff, so maybe he's not still my favorite wrestler, but back in the day he was. I really like Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton.
I remember his stuff. I don't know if you remember Legacy when he wrestled with Cody Rhodes.
And I barely remember that. That was like the tail end of me watching.
Gotcha. I might have went a little further than you did then, because I watched them from inception to them falling apart. But yeah.
They still have Big Show as well.
Big Show's good, yeah. Paul Heyman. He's kind of one of those guys that's just always there.
Yeah.
I guess like Rey Mysterio. But
anyway. And then every now and then our mayor shows up.
You've let them locate us, Kylan.
Oh God. I could be talking about Booker T. He ran for mayor.
That's true. Now they know that you're not.
Oh no.
There are only so many more mayors.
I'm talking about my governor, Jesse Ventura.
Yes, the one and only.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that is the women's match.
Diamante and Ivelisse.
I liked both of them.
Yeah, they're both good.
Good match, yeah.
I think Diamante used to be in a faction with Santana and Ortiz, from what I understand, back in Impact. And I think Eddie Kingston was in that too, from what I read. So
perhaps they're planning something there. Because I think we've talked about this, sort of expecting the Inner Circle to disintegrate at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when that'll be, because obviously they've had some weird issues with the Inner Circle, both with COVID and then, there were some suspensions and stuff.
Yeah. And they've been losing a lot recently as well.
So who knows what'll happen with that, but a good women's match. I thought both of them, for a match with two people that we haven't super seen before.
I think Diamante did one match on
had one match, and
Dark.
Ivalice's debut, I believe.
Yeah.
I might have that wrong, but they both seem to have like some character, even just in the match. Like they didn't do any talking, but especially
And they were good in the ring as well.
They were great in the ring. I think maybe they're trying to sign them, like we talked about before, because they have that tournament coming up, which I think would be a great idea. Probably some of the best. I think just from this one match. Again, it's just one match, but I think they are the two best women that they brought on.
Yeah.
They've had like Kylan King, who else? Ray Chanel, who her first match was absolutely awful. But
yeah, she did better against Sheeta, but Sheeta's also amazing.
Yeah.
Anna Jay,
Anna Jay
is she's quarantined right now because I think she goes to QT Marshall's wrestling school and he has COVID.
Yeah.
Then Abaddon.
Oh yeah, Abaddon. Gosh, she's good. She really sticks up.
She's got a frightening character.
Is she like the Living Dead girl or something?
Yeah.
Like,
something like that.
What a character.
As Britt Baker said, this broad needs Jesus.
Truly a hero, that Britt Baker. But yeah, Ivalice v Diamante, great match.
Diamante won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She ended it with the most dangerous move in professional wrestling, which is the roll-up, the fruit roll-up. And then she did something where she was in the corner and she was going, I don't really know what that was about, but I guess her gimmick is that she's like, I got you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was good. I thought it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was good. And I'm assuming since they had them on Dynamite, and from what I understand, they're both like better known than some of the other people they have who aren't known. I assume both will get signed, which that'll add some depth to the women's roster.
Broken and missing women's roster that we currently have. Yeah, but something definitely needed. But then we move into the next match. We get the Allen 5 Angels, which I think is maybe the worst they could have possibly done with that, versus Hangman Adam Page. Good match again. Yeah. What was Adam Page's little blurb? It was something funny. I can't remember.
Gonna try out these white wrist tapes or something.
Wrist tape, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Page, one of the best they have. I cannot wait to see him win the title at some point.
He definitely will have it. Yeah. But so he fights the Dark Orders, Allen 5 Angels. I get what they're going for with that name, because previously, his name is Allen Angels, and
then they just call him 5 sometimes.
He has the number 5. Sometimes they call him 5. Sometimes they call him Allen 5 Angels. I'd be fine with just 5 and then referencing that he is Allen Angels. I don't think they need to put the 5 in the middle, but whatever. It's a good match. Page is always great, obviously. Angels, I think, is maybe one of the best. I don't know how to describe it. Most athletic, maybe. Some of the moves he does are insane.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like high flying, but
he looks good.
Smooth. Like he has like combo stuff.
He's also young, so
yeah,
they can start building him,
which makes me feel bad.
But we still got time to do it.
We still got time to come up with a gimmick and make it big
and get in shape.
Well, I've seen some of the people. You don't need to be in shape, but
that's true.
So they have a pretty good match. Again, not to keep talking about Allen Angels in the match where he's fighting Adam Page, but I really like Adam Angels. He's had past matches with, he's lost these, but they have to really like him. 1, because they've put him in the Dark Order, but 2, because he's had matches with Kenny Omega, Adam Page now, Lance Archer, Rey Fenix, and Sammy Guevara. Which are like insane.
Yeah.
Because
5 of their most talented.
Yeah. He was people. Also he's been in 2 tag matches. What were they? Yeah, he lost to Best Friends, which again, some of their top people. And then he actually beat the team of jobbers.
Yeah.
Like Joe Alonzo and Will Hobbs and the third guy. I don't know.
Will Hobbs, that dude, he's got a good look. Dude's huge.
Yes, he's massive.
And he's pretty good in the ring. I think they could some point maybe sign him.
They've brought on. It's surprising. and maybe people are just better than I think, but just comparing them, like I know they're not as good as people like Scorpio Sky, who's like
Yeah.
I think maybe the best wrestler that they have. Like he
Yeah,
knows what he's doing.
he's way up there.
Yeah. But some of the people that they've brought on during this COVID time are insane. Like really good for just to be brought on as basically enhancement talent. So yeah. Another fun thing I realized when I was looking into Alan Angels is that I realized he has a better record than John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who are also in the Dark Order and who are supposed to be higher up than him. Because he's
Are they 3 and 4?
Hmm?
They're 3 and 4, right?
I thought they were
like their numbers.
Yeah. Their numbers are 3 and 4.
Yeah. And then for some reason they skip 6 through 9.
Yeah,
and go straight to press
well,
advance.
From what I understand, at the very beginning, before they had recruited people, they just had like goons, who are unnamed and were probably just people in the back. So
Gotcha.
I think technically those numbers are supposed to be just like unimportant.
Yeah, they're the people who Lance Archer throws into the ring at the beginning of matches.
Yes. But yeah, I think it's very funny that Alan Angels has a better record than both of them because he's 2-6 now, I think, and they're like 1-6 or something like that, at least for this year.
Yeah, they got to recruit Sue. They got to recruit Trent's mom.
She'd really pump those numbers up. They could. Her name's almost 2, but they already have a Stu joke.
Yeah,
with Stu Grayson. But so good match.
More Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana shows up. Yes, halfway through the Dark Order, or are they there from the start?
I think most of the Dark Order was, but Brody Lee comes out later on with Colt Cabana.
Brody Lee, Colt Cabana come out. Brody Lee, after obviously Adam Page beats Alan Angels, he just does like a basic power bomb to win, which I get it. It's he's Adam Page, but also made me kind of sad because I like Alan Angels. But so Brody Lee comes out. They do a little bit of a back and forth where he's just like, it's kind of weird that none of your friends are here because we're not going to attack you, but you're in a very we could, and this is very bad. Yeah. To which Adam Page
is like, I don't want to join a cult, bro.
I love that he has like this childlike innocence where he doesn't realize that saying that they're a cult is going to make them beat him up.
Well, I mean, later on when they all 5 came there, he tried to fight them. It's like, Adam.
And he hits
5 people.
They just kind of stand there. So they all because they weren't going to beat him up, but because he called him a cult, they go in to beat him up. They take
Colt Cabana out before that.
Yes. Colt Cabana leaves because again, he's a part of the group, but I don't think he's not like a dirty work guy.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not really a part of a group. I really like that storyline, but that's just kind of on the back burner for this. So they surround him. He gets a couple punches in. He knocks a couple of them down, but they dogpile him and the commentary is focusing on something during this, which is what Brody Lee had brought up earlier. Where's Kenny Omega? Because Adam Page is out here getting absolutely destroyed by 5 people.
Kenny's nowhere to be seen.
But luckily, Adam Page has some friends show up. FTR rolls up with
with a cooler.
With the cooler, which I get the idea is that they probably just had the cooler with them and brought it. But I do like the idea that even if they're rushing to get him, they stop to get a cooler. They like throw it.
They're like, Hangman's getting beat up. Wait, let's take this cooler. It'll be a good weapon.
So they roll up. They somehow, I get that the idea is probably FTR and Adam Page could beat. Actually, no way they could.
Yeah, because Uno and Stu Grayson are like legit.
I think they're undefeated. Not their entire record, but this year they're undefeated. They're like
and then while the other ones have lost like
a bunch.
If it was just those 3 and maybe one of them versus them, but with all 5, they still
doesn't really make any sense. But they all scatter, which happens later in the night in the next match, and I'll bring that up too. But
Kenny shows up.
Yeah. So Kenny Omega rolls out of bed. I assume he checks his phone and sees that Adam Page is getting brutalized by a cult. And so he rolls up late. Adam Page doesn't really acknowledge him.
The look on Kenny's face.
He's like,
it's just,
he's like, oops. And FTR hands Adam Page a beer, solidifying their trend of drinking on almost every episode of Dynamite.
Yeah. Haven't seen this since Stone Cold days.
Yeah. Maybe this will be the Kenny thing. I assume will be referenced in the next week as well as like a BTE.
Yeah.
But
which he had some major heel teasing going on in the BT this past week with
yes.
The stuff about Marco.
After he beat up Marco and then he called him a pussy, basically.
Yeah. I don't see any way Kenny doesn't turn heel at this point.
Yeah.
And I am here for it. I think it's going to be great.
And I think it's going to be soon. Like, I know they spent a lot of time with like the Cody thing and this tension. I think they're finally getting there. I mean, after he punches Marco, I can't imagine they spend much more time on this.
Which
he literally beat up a friend.
Yeah.
And a kid who looked up to him for no real reason.
Yeah. Well, as Luchasaurus says, he looks up to everyone, literally.
I love Luchasaurus. But, so Kenny Omega shows up late. Maybe they'll reference, I assume they'll reference that. They'll have to.
That'll definitely be in BT. And then they have the match next week, so if they lose that, it might be. I think whenever they lose the titles is when Kenny turns.
Right.
It's just a matter of when that happens.
I like to think that Kenny Omega was probably just thinking, he's fighting Alan Angels. He'll be fine. I don't need to.
He was busy. He was busy cleaning.
He was busy cleaning. Yeah, he's doing some light spring cleaning during the summer. But so we finished that. An important thing to note. I think I forgot this earlier, but I wasn't sure when in the night it happened. But there's the Inner Circle promo.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically just Chris Jericho complaining that he's got orange juice on his jacket.
All of Chris Jericho's promos are him complaining about someone, and I love it.
And then I think they laugh at him. That's pretty much the promo. But so we go back. The next match is Jericho and Hager versus Jurassic Express minus Marco Stunt. But Marco Stunt is on the sidelines, as are Santana and Ortiz for the Inner Circle. I thought this was a pretty decent match.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was especially. Maybe it's just because after that Young Bucks match earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't think
it was good, but it was good for a regular Dynamite, I would think.
It wasn't anything especially out of the norm about it. I always love when it happens without fail every time Luchasaurus is in a tag match that he gets tagged in and then does the thing where he kicks one person and kicks the other.
Yeah.
I love Luchasaurus. Speaking of people who have like maybe the most wrestling talent, I think he's up there. Considering how huge he is, he can do
flips and all that.
Versatile. Yeah, he can do those flips. Yeah. He can do crazy kicks, and then he also has like choke slams and slams and stuff like that.
And he has a master's degree in medieval history.
Yeah, in case he ever needs to talk someone to death about medieval history. Maybe that'll be a spot later.
Yeah.
But
then obviously Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy, great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. One of my favorite of the young people there.
I don't think he had any particularly. I mean, he's just good in general, but I don't think he had any particularly like special moments.
Yeah.
In this match, no one really did.
Which I mean,
not to the.
It's also more difficult for them to do some of the special moments because of the size of Hager and then Jericho's age. They can't do the same stuff they would be able to do, say, like the Young Bucks or Kenny and Hangman. But yeah, it was still good.
Good.
Aubrey was the ref.
Aubrey is great as the ref. She gets up in Jericho's face because he has Floyd his back.
She pushes him.
She pushes him and throws the bat away, which was great. Which I think, however, every time a ref does something concerning the rules, it confuses me a little bit more because why doesn't she? Sometimes they'll take a bat and throw it away. Sometimes someone will have a weapon and they're like, "Don't do that," but they don't. I don't know. She has more character than the other refs, for sure. She's definitely more forceful as a referee. But yeah, it does bring me, it brings me out of it just a little bit, the consistency, I guess.
Which, I mean, they also have the thing where people are in the ring for way too long. Sometimes
it's extremely clear.
Yeah, sometimes they're out of the ring for more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm fine with it, but because it's
I'm,
still fun to watch. But it's
I'm
just
more fine with being out of the ring longer
mm,
than the tag people being in longer, because it almost gets to the point where it's like, why are you not inside the ring?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like sometimes there'll be a tag partner watching their dude get like 2v1, and it's like, why don't you come in? Because
yeah,
clearly if there is such any kind of time limit to being in the ring, you've got more time than the other two people because they're already in there.
yeah.
But that's a sidebar. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, tons of interference in this match. Private party, not private party.
Santana and Ortiz,
I wrote down P and P because they're proud,
powerful.
powerful.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Santana and Ortiz are they're jumping on the ringside and heckling.
they
Uh,
keep showing the camera on both Matt Hardy in the stands and for some reason Serpentico.
Very odd, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Marco Stunt jumps in like twice to do like missile drop kicks on Jericho, which look great, but are also really funny because Jericho basically just like stumbles 2 steps
Yeah.
back from a missile drop kick off the top rope.
Well,
Uh,
it's the size.
yeah, it's the size, Mr. Fun size.
Yeah.
But so lots of interference. It almost looks like Jurassic Express is going to win, but Serpentico, uh, it's very interesting. Serpentico jumps. He catches someone on the ringside? Exactly what does he do? No, he
So
hits him with that,
he hit him in the back of the head with the baseball bat.
which would kill you. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, he's a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's true. And then into a code breaker. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball bat to the back of the head, code breaker to the front of the face.
So
Obviously,
obviously, it's a 3 count.
it's a 3 count, and
If it wasn't, I would be concerned.
then they start just all Santana Ortiz, Jake Hager, and Chris Jericho start beating up on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus
And Marco.
and Marco. Oh yeah, Marco's there. Marco doesn't really get beat up on; he just sort of gets tossed, and he's
Well, he
gone.
starts getting kicked eventually.
I remember so they're beating up on the two of them, and Marco Stunt like runs in the ring. He hits Chris Jericho in the back, and Chris Jericho just sort of flings him without even looking at him. Like it's like a backhand that throws him across half the ring. It's great. But so that happens, and then Serpentico again runs
He's in there beating him up.
which
And Jericho's like, what's going on here?
sadly this had been spoiled to me before I watched. I assume it wasn't spoiled to you because you watched it immediately. I saw a tweet about what had happened. I saw a picture, so it kind of got spoiled. But Serpentico comes in, he's beating up on him. He does a shooting star press off the top rope onto Jungle Boy. I don't know.
It was one of them.
One of them. It doesn't matter. He does a shooting star press. He's looking really like weird,
He's not moving like John Cruz normally does.
He look like John Cruz would look like. He's looking like someone in a vlog would look like almost.
Yeah.
Like a
someone who's maybe a Spanish like deity.
Yeah. And then we get the unmasking of Serpentico, and it's Sammy Guevara.
He's back, which I love it.
He does his tongue thing. His hair's all floppy.
Jericho's happy.
Him and Chris Jericho hug, which was the picture I saw, is them hugging. It's all good and fun. I think they beat up on them on Jurassic Express a little bit more. But then the boom, 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 boom.
No, it's his new music.
Oh, yeah, it's
the new metal music.
I forget. I don't know why they play. Yeah, whatever. They play Orange Cassidy's music, I guess, because he's the one in the feud. Although technically Best Friends have sort of been a part of that feud, so whatever. Yeah. They run in to save, which again doesn't make sense because there's 3 of them and 5 of Inner Circle.
Well, eventually they could get Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Marco up and turn the tide.
They don't wake up by the time they all run away, though, and the Best Friends are just standing there. They're still on the ground.
Also, Orange Cassidy waits forever to get in the ring because, Trent and Chuck get in there.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy just slowly walks.
So really, it's like a 2v5 for a second.
Yeah.
Until Orange Cassidy gets in there. But whatever. And then another good moment of the night is immediately Tony. Is it Schiavone or Schiavone?
Schiavone.
Schiavone. I don't know why I do this for a phone call. I guess because flip phones, but it'd be more like this. Actually, it's probably an earpiece. But he goes, Tony Khan has just told me there's going to be a 5v5 next week. Inner Circle versus Best Friends and Jurassic Express. And you're like, super cool. But how did Tony Khan make that call when this happened 5 seconds ago?
He knew.
He
He had a vision.
He knew what was going to happen. Maybe he was back there telling Best Friends to run out there because it'll be a cool match idea.
No, there's no way that Tony Khan has any input on what happens in the ring. That's entirely the wrestler's decisions.
That's true.
There's no way he says who is in what match until it happens.
Obviously, Best Friends coming out is more to do with the feud with Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
But it does it continues the idea that Jurassic Express and Best Friends are friends.
Yeah,
I think
best friend and friends.
Asked for some sort of thing. I think I don't know, but yeah.
Well, it makes sense. They're two of the more like memey teams,
but also just good guys.
Yeah,
they don't
fit together.
Tension between the group members.
They're all just like
good friends.
Yeah,
there to wrestle. But yeah, that was it ends with the Inner Circle all flipping off.
As they normally do.
Because they're edgy.
But with Sammy back this time.
But with Sammy. Bless his heart. He's finally back. After he was gone, probably for the best, but he is finally back. We have our good boy back.
Our heel good boy.
Yes. And that was the card for July 22nd.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to our next thing that Kylan will be at the lead of.
Yeah. So
is predictions.
The July 29th card, which is, I think, sounds even better than any of the weeks before. This week sounds insane. So Moxley and Darby versus Brian Cage, Ricky Starks in a tornado tag. So that's going to be fantastic, I think.
I think that's difficult to pick because Brian Cage just came off of a loss.
Mm.
Not
and you don't want to have Moxley lose.
But, maybe like just because they've been beating up on them, I think I'm going to say Mox and Darby get the win.
I think Mox and Darby win with Ricky Starks takes the pin because you can't pin Cage, you can't pin Mox. Yeah. And Darby just got back.
Yeah,
so
that's why I also figure the win because Darby just got back. He's been gone for a while, and he just got beat up 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll be a really good match, though.
It'll be close, but yeah, Mox and Darby take the win.
All right, so the next match is tag team championships are on the line. Kenny and Hangman versus the Dark Order with Uno and Stu Grayson.
I am going to say I still think Hangman and Omega keep the championships, but I think there's going to be some sort of storyline thing where their chemistry's off or they get in a fight at some point. I don't think they're going to lose it on this Dynamite. I think they'll probably lose it at a bigger event, but I do think this will be more in the vein of their chemistry being off.
I agree with that because, them losing on Dynamite after all this time building up the team would be weird.
I definitely could see it. I saw someone was reading online. Someone was mentioning something along the lines of eventually Stu Grayson and Evil Uno win the titles, but then Brody Lee strong arms them into basically giving it up to him and Colt Cabana.
Ooh,
to further beating Colt Cabana.
I think that'd be nice.
But then that also would give issues in the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Sort of like a power thing.
I think that'd be a good long-term thing.
Because I also like the idea of a power thing in the Dark Order because it's not, obviously it's like dissent, but it's not our whole group's going to fall apart. It's who's in charge of our group.
Yeah.
Which I think is an angle that AEW isn't doing with like Inner Circle or the Elite at this point. I think the Elite's going to fall apart altogether.
Yeah. But I think once Kenny turns heel, that's because then obviously him and Hangman fall apart. Cody's already sort of fallen away. Yeah. And then just a question of what the Young Bucks do.
The Young Bucks I would imagine they just remain like trying to keep things together. Maybe they restore it years down the line, because obviously this is very long term, but
Yeah.
they haven't really had any heel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're just classic good dudes that wrestle. Yeah. So I think they're going to stay in the middle.
So then we're going to have TNT title Cody versus Warhorse, who is a indie wrestler who, from what I understand about his gimmick, likes heavy metal music, which is awesome. Yeah. Cody.
Obviously.
Yeah. He may tease some more heel stuff, but Cody's not losing it to someone who's not signed with the company.
Right.
Then Sheeta versus Diamante. It's not a title match, but
yeah, Sheeta,
yeah.
We're agreeing on all of these.
Yeah, maybe we'll disagree on the final one.
Okay.
So, final one, the 5-on-5 tag team.
Okay.
Best Friends and Friends versus Inner Circle.
Tell me your thoughts on this.
So, I'm thinking that it's weird because I don't know. So Jurassic Express just lost. They've lost 2 Dynamite tag team matches in a row. Best Friends lost their most recent tag team match, and Orange Cassidy lost his most recent match with Jericho. So I think it would make the most sense to have them win to sort of keep them relevant. Plus, you don't have to have Jericho take the pin.
Right.
You could have someone like Santana Ortiz, or they could do what they do all the time and have Sammy get murdered by something.
Get murdered again.
So I think Best Friends.
I agree with you. I think if Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, all them lose, that's going to kind of really fizzle out the Jericho Orange Cassidy feud. Because the idea of that one was, Orange Cassidy lost, but it was close.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho had a hard time with that. But if it just continues, like Orange Cassidy loses, the Best Friends lose, Jurassic Express loses, I agree. It's going to take away a lot of their sort of ability. Yeah. Not to mention, Jungle Boy keeps losing.
Yeah.
Because he lost his feud with MJF. He's lost the last 2 matches. Because then...
Well, they did beat...
Wardlow, yeah.
Yeah, they beat Wardlow and MJF.
But, I don't know. He still didn't... Jungle Boy, I guess, he's as the team, yes, they won that match, but Jungle Boy himself, it doesn't feel like he's really gotten the MJF win.
Yeah.
That really needs
because it was Luchasaurus pinning Wardlow.
Yeah.
So
I think they more than anything need a win over Best Friends. Best Friends are my favorite tag team, but I think they're just kind of in a middle ground here.
Yeah.
They had a cool thing with being contenders for the tag championship, but they lost that. Now they're just sort of along the ride as buddies with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
So, which I'm all for, and then they can, have a feud later. But yeah, I agree with you. I think
we agreed on every match.
It would be sad if Sammy Guevara lost.
I don't want him to take the pin.
Yeah. But so we agree on all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously we would agree on Dark because that's basically all squash matches, except for the 2v2v2. But we also already agreed who would win that one.
Yeah, probably Santana and Ortiz, especially if you're going to have them lose Wednesday. But yeah.
Okay, so if we get them wrong, we both get them wrong.
If we get them right, we both get them right.
Our record, which we will be keeping, will be the same next week, regardless of what happens.
Yeah. We really need some of these that are difficult to tell so we can get up.
If we had started this last week and predicted this week, I think maybe we would have agreed still, but I think this week definitely had more difficult to tell matches.
Especially like the Evil East Diamante, I would have had
no idea. Because they were both good.
Jurassic Express won. I could have went either way.
Yeah. Young Bucks, and that could have gone either way, really.
Yep.
I mean, I would have expected the Young Bucks to win, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Butcher and Blade won because they're with Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, and they're really good. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that they're putting up Butcher and Blade more.
Yeah.
Even if they just lost. But and then, well, I guess those two are the only ones that we would have been.
Yeah, because the Cody one, it was like we didn't even know who he was facing, so Cody went.
But still. So yeah, we will reveal our records next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully these come out on time, but we will see you then.
Yeah.
How do I stop recording?